This segment is sponsored by Legacy Tax. The IRS has a program that allows people who owe taxes to settle for less than they actually owe. But do you qualify? Here to help us find out is Corey Hankerson from Legacy Tax. Good to have you back.
Thank you.
Okay, so who does qualify for the offer and compromise?
Sure.
And what is the minimum the IRS will accept?
Awesome. So who qualifies? You qualify to do an offer if the amount that you owe is greater than the amount that the IRS believes you can repay. Right?
Okay.
And now how much will they accept? It's going to be based on a formula. A lot of people think it's sort of like negotiating the price of a used car, or maybe just offer them a percentage and, give them 5% and see what it doesn't work that way. It's based on a formula, and the formula is centered around something called the reasonable collection potential, or RCP. Now, the RCP has two components. And so the first component is called your monthly discretionary income, right? The second component is called your net equity and assets. So if you add those two things together, the monthly discretionary income, the net equity and assets, that's going to give you your RCP. So if you owe, let's say, $50,000, and we present to the IRS that your RCP is $5,000, then $5,000 is the amount that we would offer. Not 4, not 3, not 2, 5,000. And it's really that rigid and based off of that sort of performance.
I was going to say, there doesn't seem to be much haggling going on with the IRS if it's set in that formula.
That's right.
Okay, you mentioned the monthly discretionary income. What is that? What encompasses that?
Awesome. So the monthly discretionary income is going to be your gross income minus your allowable expenses. Now that's where the haggling comes in, or the negotiation part comes in. So let's say, for example, you have certain expenses and they may not want to allow them, right? They don't want to allow that private school tuition, for example. Then we have to demonstrate why it should be allowed. But if you, for example, make $5,000 per month, and let's say you have expenses of $4,500, right? Then that leaves your monthly discretionary income at $500, and that's the way it works.
Okay, and then the second part you said, net asset equity.
Yep.
What is that? How do they calculate that?
And so your net asset equity is going to be the fair market value of your assets minus any liabilities that you have against those assets. So for example, let's say you have a home that's worth $500,000, right? But you have a mortgage for also $500,000. So then the net equity rather in that asset is 0. And so we would do that same calculation for all of your assets, your vehicle and the Picasso you have in your living room and all of those fancy things. And now the negotiation part comes in where the IRS thinks that the value of your small business, for example, is greater than you think it is, or that parcel of land that you forgot about, they think it's greater than what you think it is. And so we have to demonstrate why we're right and they're wrong. And so
that's why we need that's why we need you. Get that FICO with the IRS. But so do you have to pay the settlement all at once?
I get that question a lot, and the answer is no. And so there are going to be two options when we submit an offer and compromise. The first is called a lump sum. Now, with the lump sum, you're going to pay the amount that you offer in 5 or fewer installments. Right? The second option is called the deferred periodic payment offer, and what that means is you're going to pay off the amount that you offer in 24 installments or less. Okay. Now the twist there, because there's always one, is that when you submit a lump sum, you have to submit it with a deposit of 20% of the amount that you're offering. Whereas with the deferred payment, there's no deposit, but you got to start making those 24 monthly installments right away.
So the lump sum you're still paying a lot up front with the deposit and then your first.
That's right. And then with the periodic payment, ultimately you're going to pay more in total than you would if you were doing the lump sum.
Okay.
Yeah.
But there's
trade-offs.
There's trade-offs.
Yep.
Oh, wow. Corey, thank you.
No problem.
You broke it down so well for all of us. Thank you very much. But good to know that there's somebody there to help fight and help get you, make sure you're getting it paid back in time. If you owe the IRS and you want to see if you qualify for an offer in compromise, Legacy Tax has an online resource at levyking.com. Just answer a few simple questions and you'll be on your way. Or you can give the Legacy Tax team a call at 877-538-9546. Again, that's 877-538-9546.